Alright, so game 3, and I'm versing Nick Standing. So I've known him for a while, but we haven't actually played, as he graciously reminded me. So, do you want to take us through your list?
Yeah, man. Off the table, I got Tiggy, 3 grab sense in a pod. Elites, I got a unit of dreads. They're probably too far apart, so it's going to be closer. A unit of dreads, troops, 3 5-man attacks and rhinos for melters. Fast attack, I got the pod I spoke about earlier. A squad of attack boats. And then moving on to heavies. We got my Sicarian, 3 cents, and then a Storm Raven.
Excellent. And I've just cast it up in this little corner here to stay away from Sicarian over here. Alright, so game 3 and versing another Nick. This is Nick Standing. So we've actually known each other for a while, and I think he does really well. He's one of the Gold Coast guys. We haven't actually played each other. I thought we did, but I've actually... So you've seen him in one of the what's it called? What are these called? The battle reports. Because I recorded one of his games that he had against another player. Because I had to buy that game, and so I just recorded their game. So that's why I got confused that we had played before. So he plays his Ultramarines, or he calls them Rooster Marines, because he's a big football fan, and you know, he's painted them up. I'm guessing, I don't know who the Roosters are, so I don't know anything about football really, other than Wally Lewis was a captain. Yeah, anyway. His army, I was a little bit, we'll say, afraid of. He's got a lot of good units that can do a lot of damage to me. And like the flyer I can't deal with, because again there was no mysterious objectives in this tournament, so I had nothing against that flyer. I couldn't touch it unless he landed. He had, you know, rhinos with Tactimarines. He's got the Tiggy and Sense in a drop pod. His Tiggy rolls were perfect. He got 4+ invulnerable. He got ignores cover on his first 2 rolls, and I was like, well, now that's going to be interesting. So my jinking, you know, anything is just going to be ignored by Sense, and they just need to get 2 6s, and that's it, a boat dead. So yeah, I felt it was a strong list. It can be beaten, and you'll see. Like we get to the point where he's only got. Oh, sorry, and up the top, it's just out of the screen. He's got the Sicarian, which again ignores jink. Has rending 6 shots, auto cannon. So against my boats, very deadly. That's why I deployed kind of in this bottom corner. So I actually made mistakes here, and what I just said, the deploy in the bottom corner, hiding from the Sicarian and the kind of the drop pod thing, was I think a big mistake. Because he is a smart player, and he did absolutely everything right that he had to. He targeted all my boats first, made me walk, and then relied on him getting good Maelstrom cards to not, and me not. And because I deployed kind of almost hammer and anvil style when it was Vanguard, I made it so it was a bit more difficult for myself to score some of those Maelstroms. Like I could score the 3 on this side, so the 3 Maelstroms are always in the same spots and on the 2 hammer and anvil ends. But if I had deployed more diagonally, it wouldn't have prevented me from getting the ones on his side. Again, going back to the luck-based Maelstrom. And as it turned out, I got really unlucky with Maelstrom this turn. Like most of the ones I had to score were like in his back corners, whereas the ones that he had to score were in his back corners. Like there was one, he had to score this one down number 6, which he did get, but that put him, you can see, it put him in a dangerous position. I surrounded the rhino, charged and killed it, and the guys inside died because they couldn't disembark. So I thought I played smart. I killed the 2 dreadnoughts with a lot of haywires. They caused like 1 wound back because I've got 4+ invulnerable in combat. I'm doing work, but he's doing exactly what needs to be done for this tournament, which is against my army, which is sit back, demech me, so I have no transport capability. I have to walk to him, and then he can just feed me units. Like you can see here, he's landed his Storm Raven And this is a pivotal moment that I had to decide what to do. And then in my head, I was hoping I just got lucky on the Maelstroms. He lands his Storm Raven to get some shots off, but really he's baiting me. So I could have moved forward and then run with that big unit. Like there's 3 units of witches there, and so then I'd be in the middle of the table. This is now turn 4. Instead, I feel like, and if I got some nice Maelstrom cards, it would have worked out fine. But I feel like I got to take care of that thing because it can score line break, it can score Maelstroms on my backfield, and it does a lot of damage. So I go forward, I kill it. Haywire grenades are great, but look where I am. And now turn 5, I'm going to be pushing forward, and we actually ran out of time. So had we gone to turn 6 or even 7, this would have been a completely different game. I probably would have tabled him, but we didn't. We had to end on turn 5 because of time. And look where I am, and all the objectives that I'm scoring are literally where he's sitting. And you just saw he just scored 2 Maelstroms on that turn, and it was the one right in the middle of the board where like his last 2 units were sitting. That's all he had to do. So he played a really good game. He brought a good list for what the tournament actually turned out to be.